the strongest segment of their base? Well, a recent Gallup poll shows that white women are the least enthusiastic about voting in November. And experts say this revelation may seal the party's fate for the midterms. So what could be driving that change? Dee Dee Myers is a former White House press secretary under Bill Clinton, and she wrote the foreword to the new online book for Jones, New York, The Little Black Book of Career Advice. And Heather Higgins is president and CEO of Independent Women's Voice. Good morning to you, ladies.
Good morning.
All right, Dee Dee, were you surprised when you saw that stat? 27%, only 27% are energized?
Well, I think if you look across the country, there's not that much enthusiasm, particularly among Democrats, for the midterms. I think people are frustrated. The economy is still in the tank. Unemployment is high. People don't feel like things are getting better, and I think that they feel like, you know, politicians on both sides, incumbents in particular, aren't solving their problems.
Heather?
I think it's a little bit broader than that, and it's not just women. There are an awful lot of people who've never been engaged with politics before, who've looked at the last year's worth of policies and say, oh my God, this is not the country I thought it was. This is going in a direction which, and this is part of what's really energizing women, this is going to have lifelong effects, not only for myself, but potentially for my children and my grandchildren. It's the first time they're waking up and thinking, we may be leaving our children a dimmer future, which is not what we're supposed to be doing in America.
Yeah.
They were so appalled last year with Obamacare being passed, despite huge public opposition, and the way Nancy Pelosi handled it with tremendous arrogance. If you Google her name, the word arrogant comes up over 2 million times with it, and left wing comes up 2.7 million
But still
times.
only 27%. You're saying the opposite of what the poll says, that only 27% of white women are enthusiastic, and yet you have other like white men are really enthusiastic about the election. But here's my question about it. This year we have more women in prime political positions as candidates than I can remember in a long time.
Yeah, I think
so
that's
why would it be then?
development.
That is so exciting. Every day we're talking about yet another woman, thinking of Carly Fiorina, Meg Whitman, Christine O'Donnell. I mean, the list goes on, and yet white women are not enthusiastic about going
But I
to
think
polls.
we'd have to see. There was no other statistics in the information that we got about what it looks like across the board. I think people are frustrated. Excuse me, but I do think that we are seeing a new crop of women candidates. A lot of them are conservatives. I think Sarah Palin, in some ways, has created a new model for women, which I think is a very positive thing. Even though I disagree with them on policy, I think more women into the public sphere, more women as part of the argument, is an incredibly positive thing for the country. And look, more Democrats, more women are going to vote for Democrats than Republicans in this election cycle. But at the end of the day, I think empowering women is really important.
Well, we'll have to see how that all fleshes out, because this election, nobody knows exactly how it's going to go down. But let me ask you this: there seems to be one thing that unites all women, no matter what party they're in, and you've touched on this a lot, Dee Dee, in your writing, which is sort of the discrimination that they face for being a woman in general. Now we're seeing this Christine O'Donnell thing play out in Delaware. Now there's another report this morning that claims that she didn't go to a place to get her degree, and she says she hasn't even set up these websites. I think it was a LinkedIn website. She says she never even created it. How do you see this whole thing, Heather, with regard to the attacks that O'Donnell has faced?
Well, Christine O'Donnell is, in this instance, sounds like there's been somebody who set up a website that was never hers to begin with, and yet she gets attacked for it. But it is largely of a piece, and what I was trying to speak to before, exactly what Dee Dee said, that was one question in a poll. Independent Women's Voice did an enormous study of independents with an oversample of women. Yes, they're not happy about what they're seeing, but there is, for those who are not going to stay home, there is a high level of involvement and concern, and they see the midterms as being intensely important, and that is among women. So I'm not sure about quite how that question was phrased to come up with the conclusions that they came up with. But there has long been a pattern of, if a woman is strong, and there are an awful lot of them, all the mama grizzlies out there, she is attacked precisely by those people who say they support strong women, because that, if they're conservative, because it breaks the template of how you're supposed to be.
I got to get in O'Donnell's statement about that. This is what she said: "There have been reports that I have released false information on a LinkedIn profile under my name. This is categorically untrue. I never established a LinkedIn profile or authorized anyone to do so on my behalf." And I can tell you, ladies, that people have set up Twitter accounts about me that I have no idea. So that just happened.
I totally agree that women have a higher bar. I mean, with In the case of Christine O'Donnell, she's had a few incidents where she's been less than 100% accurate with her facts.
I got it.
But I think it's important that we continue to empower women, and that's why, we're here, bring them into the process. I'm here.